Hi everyone, I am Francesco Suman, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with the three researchers of the University of Padua who have achieved something truly remarkable. First, earning a Marie Curie Fellowship from the European Commission as early career researchers, and then a few years later, an ERC Starting Grant. So, many congratulations to Irene Gallina, Cecilia Laterza, and Marta Pamato, and thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you. Hi.
Hi,
Thank
everyone.
you. Hi.
So,
Thank you.
today you will share some tips about the secret behind your success as researchers and your experience managing these grants. I'd like to start with Irene, who works
Yeah.
at the Department of Molecular Medicine of the University of Padua. Irene, how do you let a research project evolve into another one? How did your idea for an MSCA project evolve into an ERC proposal?
Yeah. So when I wrote my my Marie Curie proposal, sorry, I was actually already a senior postdoc. So I had already sort of matured the intention to try an independent line of research. At the time, I had a solid background in the molecular biology of DNA repair and replication, but my research idea actually implied sort of a slight change of topic towards the virology field. And because I actually did not have solid preliminary results to support the feasibility of my research idea, I felt that I was not ready to apply for a starting grant scheme at that time. On the other hand, the interdisciplinarity of my research idea, and together with the fact that I was actually going back to Italy to perform this research after many years abroad, they actually made the option of writing a Marie Curie fellowship a very good option for me at that time. So personally, when I applied for the Marie Curie fellowship, I already had in mind a broader project. And I designed the Marie Curie proposal sort of a proof of concept of the feasibility of this research idea. Um, and this way, I had the time during the Marie Curie to collect those preliminary results, which were crucial for writing sort of a more competitive ERC proposal. So, of course, I was lucky that this plan worked out fine. It could have worked. I mean, the story could have ended in many other ways. So I don't really think there's a secret recipe for, success, and every story is different. But for me, having in mind already the possible future steps when applying for the Marie Curie has been extremely helpful in tailoring my Marie Curie project and also in making the transition to the ERC proposal sort of easier and sort of more natural.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you very much, Irene. Cecilia, I think you started your project at the Department of Industrial Engineering, and now you are associate professor at the Department of Biomedical Science. So, yes, that tells us a lot also about the impact on your career of the ERC grant. So, do let us tell us something about it, of course, but also I would like to ask you how different are the two funding schemes, the MSCA fellowship and their C grant, and the management approach they require?
Yes. So basically, when I started writing my Marie Curie fellowship, I was abroad. So I was a senior postdoc in Sweden, in the Stem Cell Center of Lund University in the south of Sweden. And I was looking for some opportunity to come back to Italy after many years abroad. And I found the opportunity to write something in joint with the lab that would have host me. So we started thinking about the project we could write together, and I got an enormous support from the international office, research office of University of Padua, that helped me in like writing support, but also in managing and organizing the application. It has been tough, really tough, because it's not a conventional grant application, but it requires a lot of thinking, not just about science, but also on many additional aspects like management, but also delivering some kind of activity that can involve also like the lay public. And so it's something more about also how to convey science to other people. So it was quite peculiar in that sense. But anyway, it was a grant that was written in joint with a hosting lab. And this, I think, is the main difference between a Marie Curie fellowship in which you are a senior postdoc that will have a great idea that want to be developed in combination and in joint with an hosting lab. Whereas writing an ERC starting grant, it's completely different in the sense that you have an idea that you have to develop by yourself. You can have help from collaborators, from your former lab in some technique, but still it's something that allows you to start independency and to start being responsible on all the steps from the writing to the management of the grant itself. So it's a complete change of also career step. So from the first part, it's like being postdoc, but in the second part is starting your own independent career. And you asked me at the beginning why of this transition. So basically, when I was in Sweden, well, my background and my PhD was in neuroscience and stem cell therapy for neurological disorders. And I continued also during my postdoc. But then I wanted to kind of explore something more interdisciplinary, something different. And I found a great lab here in Padova of bioengineers, which was very far from what I was doing, but still really exciting in the idea of combining my expertise with their expertise. So at the beginning, I entered the University of Padua at the Department of Industrial Engineering because it was the afferent department of this lab. But then when I had to write and also create my own project, given my background of biomedical, of biotechnology, medical biotechnologist, the Department of Biomedical Sciences was more appropriate to my background. And I had the great chance then to have a position of associate professor now, thanks to the ERC grant. Just to conclude, I think that for me has been crucial in both the application, the support of this office, because when you start writing this kind of grant, you really need to understand which are the main important part of the grant you have to focus on, which sometimes are not just the science part, but also so the idea, because many ideas are great, but also the way you convey your message and all the additional part of the grants that need to be filled properly. And also the courses that they organize. I have to mention that the first application of Marie Curie was not successful. And then I did the Marie Curie marathon, in which I learned a lot how to better cut and like customize my application to their requirement. And then the second time I applied, it was successful. So I think this is indicative of the importance of this kind of support.
Thank you. Thank you, Cecilia, for your very interesting and interdisciplinary story, I would say. Marta, you also have a nice story of traveling around because you got your bachelor degree in Padova, then you moved to Germany for your master degree and your PhD, then to the US, to the UK, and then back to the Department of Geosciences of the University of Padua, where you got your MSCA fellowship first, and now ERC Starting Grant. Why you chose the University of Padua for both of your projects?
Well, as you said, I spent 11 years abroad. I did my undergraduate here, and I think if I look back, those were the best times. I really enjoy my studies here. I had a lot of great friends. The professors were excellent. The education we receive here in Italy, especially here in Padua, the geoscience department is one of the most the best in Italy, and I think we have also good ranking worldwide. I received my basic education here, and it was excellent. I also had excellent time abroad in Germany, UK, and the US. But at the end, I decided I wanted to come back home. That's my family lives nearby, but apart from the personal reasons, professionally speaking, I mean, this is where I always saw myself at the end of the day doing my research. I wanted to bring back home everything that I learned abroad, and hopefully now, after the ERC, from postdoc, I became associate professor. So that was a dream that came true. Actually, now I get the chance to have my own students, postdocs, and I always wanted and I always saw this opportunity that I gained abroad to convey to my students and postdocs, to train them and, give my know-how, everything that I learned abroad here in Italy. At that time, when I applied for the Marie Curie, I was in the UK. I was still collaborating with my former supervisor, Professor Nessola. He was also an ERC winner. And at that time, he was still working on his ERC, and he had his, wonderful facility that he got. He built with his ERC to do research on diamonds. At that time, I'm an experimental geoscientist, but I always thought that if I could apply what I learned in the lab, and now get the opportunity to use natural samples, okay, this is what I wanted to do. And we started to chat again. And I said, Fabrizio, what about if I come back to Italy? I think as Irene and Cecilia, we were all abroad. So this was a great opportunity because of the mobility. We were eligible. I was eligible to come back to Italy. And I applied for the Marie Curie. So professionally, the Department of Geosciences, it was one of the best facilities I could use. And then, of course, as I said, I always saw myself working here. And this is the ERC gave me that opportunity because it was my dream that came true. And this is why I decided to come back. And also, my colleagues were my former professors. I knew the environment, how the environment was, and I was really happy with my decision. And I really recommend future prospective applicants that apply to Padua. It's a great environment. Also, as Cecilia said, we are very lucky to have this research international office because they really help us a lot and they promote this sort of funding. And we are really in a fortunate place. Yeah.
Well, congratulations to you all. And now I have a common question for you. What is the single best piece of advice you would give to someone aspiring to follow your same research path? Who wants to start? Maybe Irene?
Yeah, we can keep the line going. So I think for me, what helped a lot actually in succeeding and keep going through all this writing and then through the evaluation process was actually to keep believing in my research idea. So of course, when you apply to this type of grants, you never think that you're going to be successful because they are super competitive. And of course, because they are competitive, you need support. And as Marta and Cecilia mentioned, I mean, the international office gave exceptional support both for the writing and also for during the ERC evaluation, also for the oral part, for the evaluation of the oral part. So I think this is really important because you need to convey a very direct message and it needs to go through to everybody. But I think for me, what I really tried was to not to get stuck on the criticism of my core idea. So if I have to suggest something, is really to take the time to come up with a core idea which really makes you excited. So if you get butterflies in the stomach when you think about doing that research, if you can't wait to see the outcomes of that research, then I think it's really worth sticking to it and trying to actually transmit that passion also to the evaluators of your proposal. And I think this would really be a plus during the process.
So butterfly in the stomach. That's
Butterfly
a
in the stomach, yeah.
great tip. Cecilia, what's your suggestion?
Well, I think that in general, it's something similar to what Irene said, but commitment. So never give up. Also because they are very competitive applications, and the percentage of success is very low, but doesn't mean that you cannot make it. We are some example of it. But practically, to be more practical, so this is more in general, but more practically, I think that the two applications are quite different. So practically, in the first one, I think it's important to see some kind of complementarity between your expertise and the lab you are going to, because this is something that is very well evaluated. So the conjunction of the two, you and the lab. Whereas in the second one, I think that the most important thing is also the support of like the other researcher, other people. I did something kind of 14 mock interview before doing my ERC interview. So it's really to like test your idea and being linked to it and try to test it as much as possible, because you want to arrive to the interview very well prepared and very convinced that you can make it and you have a great idea that can really make the difference.
So 14 mock interviews, that's also another great piece of advice. What about your advice, Marta?
Well, I think we are all relating to each other. I think that's the motto. I think to me was to really believe in myself and the idea. And even if it wasn't the case that it was going to be successful, I really try to motivate myself in the net, and is to persevere. If at first you don't succeed, just try and try again. Because if you never try, if you never get out and play, you will never succeed. Okay? So, and also, like Cecilia was saying, I was lucky because in the department, there were at that time 3 ERC grantees. So I really went and talked to them and asked for advice, suggestion. I really bothered them a lot. We practiced a lot with mock interviews and look at what the others in the panel are doing, like stalk them, let's say, and yeah, prepare a lot. But what I think is important is to believe in ourselves. If you are not a good believer in yourself, try to surround yourself with people that really are mentors, good mentors, and motivate you and believe in you. And in my case, I was lucky because, as I said, I had different ERC grantees, and to me, they were an aspiration. And this is what I wanted to do. And just keep going. This is maybe the secret. Just keep trying.
Believe in yourself, keep trying, get out and play.
Yes.
That's a great message. So thanks everyone for your time. It was a pleasure chatting with you, and I wish you all the best with your projects.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you
you
very
very much.
much.
Bye.
Have a good
Bye.
day.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.